Vinaka, and welcome to Talk Business, and to all our viewers who are joining us from around the region, welcome to the show. Now, coffee is a major commodity and has become a universal beverage. Here at home, the coffee culture has fast caught on, and a local venture has taken it to another level. Tonight we feature Fiji Coffee, the country's largest coffee processors based here in the capital, and take you through the entire process of roasting coffee beans to packaging for the domestic market. That's all coming up in the next half hour. The origins of coffee can be traced to the ancient Ethiopian civilization. The Arabs were the first not only to cultivate coffee, but also to begin its trade, and it soon spread across the Middle East. What resulted were the world's first coffee houses, which were quite similar to its modern-day equivalent. Not long after, coffee was introduced to Europe, and that's what changed the course of history for this black beverage. Fast forward to the 21st century, and coffee is simply more than just a drink. It's part of our lifestyle. It's a culture which continues to evolve. Coffee has now established itself as a commodity crop throughout the world. Virtually all the coffee we drink today is produced in regions situated in the tropics, from the large plantations of South America to the Caribbean, and vastly spread across Asia Pacific. A major producer closer to home is Papua New Guinea. Nestled in the highlands in Goroka, the Arabica coffee beans are of high quality due to high altitudes it's grown in. It has a distinctive taste and is renowned for its richness in flavor. And those behind Fiji Coffee decided to tap into this potential some 25 years ago. The company is the brainchild of two men, Greg Lawler and Neil Underhill, both of whom sensed the probable growth of coffee many years ago. Established back in 1988, Fiji Coffee has come a long way. Today, the company has grown tenfold and roasts high-quality PNG coffee beans, grinds and packages it for the local tourism market.
Back then, there was a company importing Harris coffee out of Australia. They were supplying most resorts and hotels at the time, and so these two, Greg and Neil, decided, let's try something local. So alongside carpenters, MHs, I believe the estate intervenor is called White Kavala Estate intervenor, which still exists to this day, but I think it's a residential area, no more a farming area. So they tried beans growing up there, and obviously with quality and demand, it didn't work. So the intervenor couldn't produce enough at that time to supply the market. From there on, hence the imports from the green beans from Papua New Guinea, when you find the right quality, and then from there on, the company just grew on its own, and here we are today.
When you come to think of it, coffee isn't exactly part of our rich history. Due to our colonial past, Fiji has a unique form of tea culture, which is embedded in our way of life until this day. Where do you think we got the idea of morning and afternoon tea? A crucial component of our working day. So how did coffee fit in?
For lack of a better term, I think it's called the colonial hangover, the tea drinking phase. But if you go back to the 80s, prior to just prior to 87 coup and all that, there was a big movement of people from Fiji to Australia and New Zealand, from the indigenous to the Indo-Fijians, to basically everybody was sending their child overseas. And as this group of people started coming back for holidays and come back into the big city of Suva, the tea era had actually had actually gone out of their system, because they now were exposed to the Australianized or the Kiwinized version of culture, coffee culture, and so hence the coffee culture sort of started. And I mean, did it take many years to actually overcome the colonial hangover syndrome? Yes, it did. I mean, still to this very day, and the cycle is funny. With coffee now, with the cycle going from back then, moving from the tea culture into the coffee culture, and then digressing back into the fancy coffees, all the milks and the lattes and what have you not.
And the rest, as they say, is history. Fiji Coffee is today a renowned brand in our hospitality sector. In fact, the company supplies its freshly roasted coffee to 85% of the hotel room inventory in Fiji. This now expands to coffee houses and even restaurants with a barista. What Fiji Coffee does that it also supplies coffee brewing equipment from simple plungers and pour-over machines to fully bean-to-cup machines.
There are some great instant coffees out there, and I'm not bagging instant coffee by no means or measure. If you took a cup of instant coffee, pure black like that, and to get that texture and body and aroma right, it's very hard to do because you actually manually drink it with your teaspoon. With this, pre-measured, pre-everything, you've tried.
It doesn't have that bitter aftertaste?
Absolutely.
And that distinctive flavor of their coffee is due to the richness of these coffee beans, an A-grade product of Papua New Guinea that prides itself as being the best coffee beans in the Pacific.
It's AAA Arabica beans. That's the ones we only use. We do not go below that for the reason that we do not compromise on quality and flavor. Even though it may cost us a bit more, but that's fine. We try and absorb as much of the cost into our company so that we get our product into the marketplace for everybody to enjoy, rather than trying to make the big end all at the end of the day.
Coming up next, grounding freshly roasted coffee beans. Suliasi has been with Fiji Coffee for just over 24 years now. He understands the coffee beans like his mother tongue, from the temperature required for roasting to the right amount of moisture and just how good coffee beans are. It's safe to say he's become a bit of a coffee connoisseur himself. So he takes us through the roasting process and right through till the end product of grounded coffee. Green coffee beans begin to seep in as the machine starts.
When you put these coffee beans into this vat, it sucks into this tube. From this tube, and goes right on top that top hopper, waiting for the temperature to reach the right temperature. Then we'll drop the coffee beans into that tumble roaster. From that plantation, they grade the coffee beans. Yes, some of the coffee beans here is a bit smaller in size.
It requires a whole deal of experience and technical skills to roast green coffee beans to the right temperature. A little extra heat can burn the beans, or less heat will trap the unnecessary moisture. So how do you strike the balance?
When the beans have been sucked up onto that hopper, when it reaches the 200 degrees Celsius temperature, then we drop the beans down. From there, it will take about another 20 minutes to roast.
Now Fiji Coffee roasts the coffee beans to 3 different temperatures here. Light roast, which is also known as the continental roast, medium roast, also called the French roast, and is the most popular here, and finally, dark and oily roast, also famously known as the Italian roast.
Mostly the Fiji market is, mostly is a French roast. Dark and oily, not much people they taking that. Depends on individual customer, they come and buy. If they want dark and oily Italian roast, then we'll make Italian roast. But mostly we use French roast and continental roast. Got a bed here with a sample roast. I have to mix with it. When it comes to the same as this one in this container, I'll stop the machine, I'll stop the roaster.
Now this is an interesting part of the process. Just as it's important to roast the coffee beans to the right temperature, it's equally important to ensure the beans are cooled down precisely before it hits the grind.
When I get the sample correct, that's the time I off the gas and drop the coffee beans to the cooling tray. From this cooling tray, it will take about another 5 minutes to cool down. And from this cooling tray, I have to take it down to that destoner. From that destoner, it goes up to that hopper, waiting for the coffee beans to take it into put in the bin.
Sometimes foreign objects like small pieces of metal, stones, or even surprisingly nails can make it through. However, the machine sieves through the coffee beans and all unwanted objects are discarded.
When the coffee beans been cooled down, we'll take it up to that small hopper, and you have to go through this toner. This toner, which I'm holding it, inside this there's some gravels and nails and small stones or glass. What happened? All coffee beans that come, this is what comes with it, not only coffee. It comes with some small stones, nails, and small pieces of glass. That's why this you got this toner. Feed it on under that hopper, so it will trap all the stones and gravel, whatever comes, except coffee.
Now it's time to gather the coffee beans for the grind.
This is the last process of this coffee roasting. When it comes through that this toner, it comes into this hopper, and from here we'll put straight into the bin. Bearing after that, then we'll take it down to from inside this bin. Then we go and have to blend it, and after that, it's going through the grinding process. After it's been roasted, from that bag it comes in 60 kg, and from here most of the moisture has been gone out, and that will be about 20% moisture loss from after being roasted.
And finally to the last process of coffee roasting. Has thoroughly been roasted and cooled down, the grinding process then begins. finally to the packaging as the assembly line process ends. Now, with fresh grounded coffee at hand, it would be a crime not to indulge.
We've just done the whole process for you. This is the final product that goes out to our customers, our clients. As I was mentioning to you earlier, the simplicity of the whole process, and we keep it very simple. For simple things like this, we use in little domestic kitchens or something, little restaurants and cafes. This is what they call a filter holder. You just use your filter paper there. From here, what really happens is you get your coffee grinds, fresh packet that we just brewed. So just strip away slowly.
Oh, that's lovely brown.
And as you know, Rachna, this is what we just roasted and blended and
Just
going
fresh.
and packed. Just within the last
Beautiful
3 to 4
aroma.
minutes. Doesn't liver. What we do, and like I said, this is just a simple pour over machine, as we call it, a simple brewer. We use this in small cafes, outlets where the demand's not as high. Get an empty jug, another decanter like this, full of water, and you just pour away. Every process that we do here is so simple, no chemicals, no nothing, just straight out of the bag, green beans into the roaster, roasted, cooled down, blended, grinded, packed, straight to your machine. Water, filter paper, your coffee, and that's it, the two-end product there.
So what's the distinctive taste about Fiji coffee that sets it apart from other coffee brewed in Fiji?
I believe that our distinctiveness is, the freshness in our product. There are a lot of great coffees out there in the marketplace at the moment, and my wife actually loves to drink some of them as well. But I'm sure a lot of connoisseurs out there will agree to as well. There's some lovely ones. Our distinctiveness and our distinctive taste that we can custom blend our coffee to suit the individual resort or the individual person, but also it lies in the freshness. Every 2 weeks, as you just witnessed, that same process takes place. It's packed and it's straight into our customers' stores or into the consumer's hands, as they say.
So unlike wine, which needs to be aged to drink, that's not the case with coffee?
Absolutely not. The coffee is the fresher, the better, and that's the difference in the taste. And then,
What's unique about Fiji Coffee is that it can provide a customized blend for its clients to suit their customer needs. This is specifically beneficial for tourism operators who have to cater to the taste buds of tourists from different parts of the world.
the European market tends to be a very strong, heavy coffee. The Australian market, New Zealand market, somewhere in between. And you have the American market, which is a bit more lighter. So, depending on the target market, we are able to do this in-house for them, which not a lot of companies can do in Fiji, or no one else can do, I should say. But we can come to you and say, hey Rachna, I believe your market is Australia, New Zealand predominantly, 90% of the time. Come sit down with us, we'll put a blend together for you, and it's specifically for Rachna.
So customized.
Customized coffee.
The company, which has invested millions into this simple operation, feels that local businesses and the hospitality sector must support Fijian made.
Most of our major hotels in Fiji are turning this way and have turned and looked at us as a preferred supplier over the other importers who bring their coffees in container loads, and it sits for 2-3 months or 6 months or whatever their storage time is. I'm not too clear on that, how long they hold their coffee for. But like I said, it's that Fijian made that is the key aspects of this whole Fiji coffee. You know, the whole key behind it. Everything's local, from the workers to the to the coffee to the manufacturer. Everything's just done here.
With the demand of the product growing beyond expectations, there is now the possibility of embarking on Fiji coffee exports to the region.
Hopefully, with this Fijian-made products and the Melanesian Spearhead Group, we'll be able to start moving around the Pacific as a stepping stone. But importantly, we're sort of kind of working with Tourism Fiji. They just did an AIME show in Melbourne, and alongside Fiji Water at their booth at the stand, we had Fiji Coffee sitting down there. So it was pretty much a proud moment to actually start getting that exposure overseas. And the Starwood Group did a sales and marketing trip through New Zealand just of recent. We gave them coffee as promo stuff, promote Fiji. And the good thing about this is a lot of the good hoteliers in Fiji are getting behind the Fijian-made brand, and that's the most important part, because without their help and support, Fiji, we can't grow, you know.
So what's so special about Fiji coffee? Well, I was going to find out for myself.
So we have to drink our coffee now, do we?
This is really, really good. It's so fine, you know, and you don't have that bitter aftertaste. It's just delicious.
It's just smooth, huh?
It is. And without any milk and sugar?
Have you ever drank like this?
No, honestly no. I've never actually had coffee without milk and sugar.
It's gone a bit cold.
Healthy alternative.
Caffeine can't be that healthy, but...
And that's the show for this week. We'd love to hear from you, so do send us an email, talkbusiness@fijitv.com.fj. Remember, you can catch us on the net on our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/talkbusiness, or find us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/talkbusiness. And if you're on Twitter, follow me, Rachna, @FijiTV. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week at the same time, at a different location, right here on Fiji One. Until then, have a productive week.